To be honest, it's actually a very creepy Yu-Gi-Oh card, and it's just a Yu-Gi-Oh card that you'd want to like ban, you know? Like you'd want to ban this Yu-Gi-Oh card, and I'll tell you why. I'm not talking about like secrets or anything right now. I'm talking about what the creepy thing about this card. It's just the effect and the idea that's behind it. The idea that it's just, drawing out hand traps, right? The idea that it's taking away field problems, right? The idea that it tries to make an argument. But anytime you banish a card in Yu-Gi-Oh, you silly Yu-Gi-Oh players, anytime you banish a Yu-Gi-Oh card, you have a way of reverting it back out. And it's like I don't get like I don't like the fact of this being in an American set and then we're not having a ban list banning this card. And I had to do a lot of research before I decided to say, hey, ban this card, Hey, take this card and ban it. But the reason from a competitive aspect, okay, like an idea behind it, is we always know extra decks are just annoying cards to have, okay? But it's the idea that your opening hand, that you, the opponent, when you have your opening hand, and they just decide, well, they're going to plop this out on you. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're really building a strategy around this card, like, to take this card out. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is all about opening hands, opening hand ratios with it. So you're not going to be at a Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournament and you're going to be like, oh, yeah, you're not going to feel no skill. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to feel skill. And that's kind of like the thing about it. It's just like a Yahtzee, poker, whatever card, whatever example you'd like. Kind of like, oh, look, my hand's good, And then it's taking the space out of the card of their hand, okay? It's a link climbs, so it climbs, right? Turns into other cards, right? Of course. It does so many things. If you even try to strategize against it, what, you have to fight it with cards that come back from being banished, that's kind of like the idea behind it. But when you're playing an actual competitive deck, that's the problem. When you're playing a competitive deck and you're trying to top or you're trying to get far in the event because you're trying to play Yu-Gi-Oh, this card pops its head. It just pops its head out there, and that's what makes it creepy, is because it's just kind of like, oh, okay, well, the strategy is you're gonna have to. You're basically almost set up to where you're having to play this card, and it doesn't feel. It has like that feeling of Pot of Prosperity, It has the feeling of Triple Tactics. It has the feeling of Thrust, But it's even worse because it's an extra deck. So it's like if you drew wrong, right? And you're supposed to be playing fair Yu-Gi-Oh, you're still having a way to get into this, bring this out, and save yourself a turn. And then that's where they make the stupid argument, like, oh, you saved yourself a turn, right? So that's the dumb argument they're trying to make. But it doesn't make sense because it's still doing the thing that you're needing to do. The thing it's doing is drawing out a hand trap, right? And if you're not drawing out the hand trap, you're banishing a card off the field. The card, it's such garbage, dude. It would also frustrate a lot of people, It would frustrate a lot of people that go to the event. And it's I try to remember, it was like and it had the idea of like brain, because even if like you were to mirror, like let's say you mirror with this card, right? Because like your opponent brings it out, you bring this card out, kind of thing, and you mirror. It's the idea that you both have this awesome extra deck of 15 cards, and you both had to play this stupid card, And it's not it's not a good method like that you would think, because there was some understandable things about the hero fusion that wasn't too terrible, because it would keep coming back, and doing its thing. But then it was still controversial too. But this one, the thing that makes this thing so annoying, okay, Banish. Banish. You could get punished with the hero. The hero, you could pop a card and it go to the graveyard. But this one just says, nope, I banished the card, right? And it also, if you're preparing your deck around this, then another deck that you have to face later, like, so you're preparing yourself around this deck. You don't get to you don't have strategy. You know, like the next person in the tournament that you're facing. They're playing different stuff. It's a card worth a card worth whining about, and I like it when it's a card that's like worth whining about. There's a the 1600 base stat. You know, there's all kinds of thoughts to it. There's a the attack method behind it. Dark attribute, you know, there's too many stupid things with this card. And they're like, oh, we're gonna make a quarter century I like how I was talking about Tails stuff too right there. But like, it's like we're gonna make the quarter century, we're gonna make the what's the other one, the secret rare, you know. And sometimes when you open the box, it's kind of a little dislightening opening and pulling this thing, to be honest. It's just a little dislightening because it's kind of like for TCG here in America, believe it or not, we've actually went toe-to-toe with Japan. That's the problem. We've went toe-to-toe with Japan. And having our ban list just be like, oh, here you get to go play this card. Also, have you seen females with tattoos like that? Yeah, you've seen a female with a tattoo like that. This card, dude, this card, like like, is that a good response? No, it's not even close to a good response. It's an extra deck. They're already using hand traps, you know? And then that's the funny part. Do you really think if people know that you're playing this card, guess what? They're going to build a hand trap set around this card, too. They are going to do that. Duh. They're going to try and do that. And then you're having like a boring matches. The only time like mirror matches that were good was like, I think it was the salad players. The salad players could show the difference between a two mirror match salad player, and you actually wouldn't mind watching them compete against each other, right? But this one, you go to like, you're like, no, my kid's not smart. My kid's not smart, or like I'm not smart. The person, whoever's trying to play this game, I'm not a smart person. You don't have that idea. You have the idea that you're just like, well, okay, here's another card I'm forced to purchase, you know, that kind of thing. Oh, well, here I go buying this. And the strategy of saying like, oh, we got it out early, so hopefully in the future we ban it. It's bannable now. It's bannable now. It re gets the sources of cards that should not come back on the field. And they're I'm pretty sure people will be annoyed with the atmosphere too, because when they see something like that, I mean, the atmosphere, you know. But they really, I'll be the positive thing I will say to you guys, because this card just needs to be banned. But the positive thing I do say is at least it looks like a 7, which was from Yu-Gi-Oh! Vector. But like all the stuff I've shown you from Vector, you know. So yeah, but I think that's the funniest thing too. I lead to is the stuff I show you guys is content. It's not content made by me. It's content made by the people that made the video game and made the stuff, you know? And, you know, we just got another thing with Sabrina, right? From Pokemon. Okay. We've had Masingo for who knows how long. We've had Masingo over 15 years. But this is what I hate about this is because this would personally make me make a tournament of a TCG ban list, and we would ban this card. We would get around to banning this card. We want to be like, oh, okay, yeah, sure, go ahead. You can banish my card. You can waste my hand trap. You can, it doesn't even like it's okay. So you draw your hand, right? And you're just trying to play Yu-Gi-Oh. You're trying to play Yu-Gi-Oh. You're trying to play this card game, and this card's out here on the field, and you did not draw good. So guess what? Even if you're a skilled duelist or whatever you are, and this card's out here on the field, you're gonna take an L. You're going to take an L. It takes away the purpose of having like a serious feel to Yu-Gi-Oh. And it takes like a momentum thing too. What was it? There was like a momentum thing of like that was the thing that made Yu-Gi-Oh, dude. The thing that made Yu-Gi-Oh to me. And to me, I'm just like not just on my opinion, just like a general opinion of many people. The whole reason they even tried to go out and play Yu-Gi-Oh is everybody had a fair chance. You had a drive where you had a fair chance. Like even like I talk about like there was a. Don't you hate just looking at you would hate to look at the past, It'd be like looking at Ritual Beast, right? And looking at like chain reactions that were fair to like where you have like a good moment where you have two extra deck monsters that are not overpowered, right? And like the Ritual Beast player gets into a fight with a Exciton Knight, or they get into a fight with just like I'm using it as a silly example where you just have two extra deck cards, and they're good, but they're not gonna punish themselves, and you'd be surprised with like a dumb ban list that could come from this, an actual dumb ban list that could, because like it'd be a fair trade, like it's just like hello Baron DeFleur players, or just be like. Because Baron DeFleur is another card to talk about, that's another card to talk about. It's nothing but a solemn strike kind of thing, which is kind of like the concept behind this card. So yeah, you have draw outs, you have the ways of drawing these cards out, but like it's like the at first I thought I was going silly, At first my brain was like, okay, this card. I saw some of the placements where if you were to put this card on the field, it would be okay. But then when you start to think about what this card's doing, it's also making the idea that they want hand traps to stay too, and that's kind of like, it's like no. Because there is, there's also the spots. There's also the spots too. Like let's say your cards in your hand cannot make a good field. Okay, for some reason you do draw the hand where you can't really make a good field. You're still playing this card for the next round in hopes you get to put this card out on the field. It's so stupid. It's like a that's a contingency argument. There is a 1, 2, 3 method to Yu-Gi-Oh. Yes, there is, but the chance that you get a hand like that when you draw a hand like that, it's very low chances, and you have to play like a ton of Yu-Gi-Oh. Like you have to play a ton for your opening hand to be like that. But there is a. It may not even happen to you. Some people go into tournaments and that the third scenario doesn't happen. So and the cards have a where is it all the changed methods too. The changed method argument is kind of bad because even if you're like, okay, well, the argument is that you're wanting to change up the strategies and everything. the fact that you have this card, I can't with this card. The fact that you put this card out there on the field, okay? They still, like, if they have the answer to this card, okay? So they have, for some reason, they have the answer. They have the right hand to this. The second or third duel or whatever, they're going to get an advantage on you with this card. You are not anywhere remotely guaranteed that you're going to be able to play against this card. So it's just like it's a really stupid thing of like a box, you know. We've seen it too many times with boxes. Okay, so we've seen boxes and then boxes again, and then we've seen it again. Do you know what I also like about it? I like this card's artwork. See what I'm saying? I like the artwork, which is kind of a funny thing, because the zipper right here. See this zipper? It's also a little bit of a duality meaning because I've shown some other things, right? But this zipper that they got here from Animal Crossing, okay? I think it's cool that they're doing that out of all the artwork to show that, hey, I mean, everybody loved the Animal Crossing thing, you know? The zipper. So, yeah, there's that. But there's it's just a crazy Yu-Gi-Oh card, dude. It is a crazy Yu-Gi-Oh card. It's kind of like it feels outdated. To me, it feels outdated because it feels like complacement. It feels like you're just comfy with this, you know? And nobody's like really going to Yu-Gi-Oh events. Like they go, the card shops have to sell this too. They do. They have to sell this card for sure. For sure, yeah. They're going to have to sell this card. Oh, yeah, you betcha. But it's not like I think we've been through too much with the Cashtiria. We have all the Cashtiria cards, you know. Our ban list is very questionable right now. And we're just like, okay, here you go. You're going to be playing this card, you know, that. And it's back in the day, Dark Hole, Graceful Charity, Pot of Greed. There was reasons behind playing that because it wasn't so fast, you know. Now playing cards like this is bad, dude. It's bad. I love the artwork. I do. I love the artwork. The card though, but the card honestly makes me come off like a douchebag. You know, it does. It makes me come off like a douchebag. And saying to myself, I wouldn't play this card. Yeah, right. Yeah, all right. I'd even side deck this card, you know? You'd even put this in the side deck. So I don't get any of the arguments. I just don't. I don't get any of them. I've seen enough of it. And I've seen like the future cards that are going to help it, of course. Of course, anybody's seen that. That's OCG cards. So that's the problem you run into, Yu-Gi-Oh players, is it's kind of like, I'm like, no.